Hey everybody, Jason here. Welcome back to Being a Being. I wanted to touch on something today that I've touched on in the past, but I've since thought about it and I still can't get this idea out of my head, so I'm going to talk about it. I hope you stick around and listen. If you do, make sure you like, subscribe, share the post, and tell me your thoughts. So that being said, let's dive into this thought, which I call the broken clock paradox. I just posted a LinkedIn article summarizing my thoughts on this too, but I'm not going to read that word for word. Anyways, there's this idea that people say is a broken clock's always right twice a day. I get what it means is that sometimes things that don't appear to be right can still have value and everything, but I'm also a very literal person, so I get hung up on the literality of it. And it makes me think about perspective and perception and everything. So the first thing I think of when I think about this is, reevaluating what it means to be broke and or to function. So we have to start by questioning, what does it mean for a clock to be broken? Does it mean that the clock is not running and it's always stuck on the same time? If it does, then in that case, in that instance, yes, it's always right twice a day. But if a clock's broken so that its hand is always a minute fast or a minute slow, it's never going to be right, period. But if the clock's broken in such a way so that every now and then, like every other hour, it tells the correct time, that clock's going to be accurate 12 times a day, so there is still some value in it. Which 12, which hour is the every other correct hour, that's a matter of observation and learning, but it's still going to be right, and there is still value. Then there's another aspect, which is, how can you solve a problem using a broken clock or using invalid information or inaccurate information or something you think isn't working but may actually hold good information? And let's just for this example come up with a creative solution. It being literal about the post. Let's say you do have a broken clock, okay? It's always stuck on the same time, and that's our definition of broken. What can we do with it? Now let's say we invent the power to be able to instantly jump to any time zone in the world. You can go to whatever time zone in the world where that's right at that given time, and that's actually valuable. So now you've been adaptive, you've shifted your perspective from it being an obstacle to an opportunity, and you're able to do a lot more with something you thought was originally broken. And then just, summing it all up real quick, it's a reminder that our immediate assumptions aren't always correct, and we should always, think about different perspectives and be willing to overcome the limitations of our own personal bias or our own personal limitations. I guess you would say, I call it a paradox. It's not really a paradox in the sense of the traditional meaning. It is in that, it does work in one way, but it doesn't in another. But it's more of a misnomer and a error in perspective and thinking than it is a paradox. But paradox is a lot easier than saying all of that, so that's why I call it that. So if you understand that just because you feel broken or, things aren't working out, that it's not always going to mean that you're stuck in one place. We can be more open and we can come up with creative solutions to solve these kind of problems. And I'm trying to use this as personal inspiration for my professional life and my personal life. By learning to adapt and shift our perspective, we can totally find ways to overcome the challenges we face every day, and we can turn these broken clocks into more useful tools for success. So that's my thought for today. This idea has really just been in my head for years, and I'm going to keep expanding on it. I'll probably do multiple ones of these. I'd love to talk on a podcast about this. If anybody's ever doing a live video and they want to discuss it, let me know. I'm happy to hop on and talk about this kind of stuff. And, like I said, if you enjoy this, let me know your thoughts and comments. And until then, just keep being awesome beings. I'll catch you next time.